Hey guys, Venomous here, and I got a brand new OTGT for you. Now, today I'm talking about a PSP game which, recently came out maybe about a week or so ago. I'm talking about Fat Princess Fistful of Cake. Now, in case you guys don't know what that is, okay? Fat Princess is pretty much, if I had to describe it in a nutshell, it's very similar to Star Wars Battlefront. Now, what I mean by that is it's a class-based game where basically you have your own character and you have a choice between specific classes in order to help defeat an enemy opposing team. It's kind of like, a mixture of both team deathmatch, domination, capture the flag, and the like. Okay, basically you have a character, you choose between one of four different classes, okay? You have your actual base here, and an enemy has their base, okay? And the main object for some of the game types is, okay, you have a princess that's either captured by the actual, enemy team, or is in your actual, base and stuff, and you have to prevent your enemy from either keeping her hostage or going and actually kidnapping her. And it's kind of like capture the flag, where basically your princess is the flag and you just got to protect your flag for the most part. Then they have other things which is kind of like domination, which is, kind of similar to like how the Galactic Conquest is in Star Wars Battlefront, where you're capturing command posts, quote unquote, or in this case, they're medieval towers. That's one thing about this game. It takes place in kind of like a medieval fantasy type of setting, where like I said, it's basically team based. You basically have to overwhelm your opponent. Okay, you overwhelm the opposing team. Okay, so you get a choice between four different classes you can play as. Either first you start off as a citizen, which is basically like the default basic bones structure of your character when you respawn every time. Okay, you have a choice between either a worker, a warrior, a black priest, or white priest, or an archer. Okay, that's five classes. Sorry. Anyway, the way you choose these classes is inside your base you have these machines that actually make hats for you. So when you pick up the hat with your character, you actually turn into that class. You could also do the same thing to enemies that you kill. You could actually pick up their hats and turn into that particular class. Anyway, what's so good about this game? This game is good because it's real simple to get across, and because, like I said, it's so much similar to Star Wars Battlefront, but in a lot more simplistic way, excuse me, is that a lot of people will find it very fun or very engaging to get into. Okay, on top of that, you could actually do this via ad hoc and infrastructure mode, via Wi-Fi with a bunch of other players. I believe it's about up to 8 players on each team, so about 16 players in total. Okay, where you could actually play matches like that. Very similar to Star Wars Battlefront, which is really cool. Okay, it has, for the single player, it has a thing called Legend of the Fat Princess, which is pretty much kind of like a campaign mode, where you're basically going through kind of like a quote-unquote story-ish type of thing, and you're pretty much doing different missions and trying out the different game types. Okay, and then obviously you could play on ad hoc infrastructure, which is the multiplayer. It's standard. You get all your different types of game modes. You can choose what type of game mode, what type of map. There's a bunch of different maps. They all somewhat look the same. They got different layouts and stuff like that, but they're all pretty much in like the same type of setting, minus a few minor details like water, lava, etc., cliffs. The list goes on. Besides that, you could actually customize your specific character for when you go online or when you play on yourself. Okay, you could give it different types of looks, like a goatee. You could give it different types of hair, skin color, and that's about it. You can't really change the actual clothing color. The reason being is because since there's only two teams in the actual game, it's either red or blue. The color of your clothes is actually going to be specific to whatever team that you're on at that moment. Okay, there's no really other big customization options. Okay, and then besides that, the classes are pretty much what you pick up on the battlefields. So anyway, what other cool little tidbits about this game? You could actually, while you're playing some of the specific classes, they're geared towards specific roles. For example, okay, the worker could help build specific structures and upgrade your structures inside your castle, your main base, for all the other classes to use and stuff like that, and could also help carry different things, like either you're capturing a flag or you're capturing, your princess, you're getting resources to actually build different stuff is made for different things like that because it's a worker, whereas opposed to a warrior is more fit for battle, where it actually has better moves and maneuvers, to actually take out opposing enemy units. Then you have other classes, which is like a mix and match, where you have Dark Priest, which pretty much can drain life from enemies or set them on fire. You have a White Priest, which can pretty much heal characters that are on your team. You also have archers, which pretty much fire, like arrows and bows and stuff. Also, the dark priest, I think it is, or the other types of mage, can also freeze enemies and also set them on fire and dealing damage, to a wide area of enemies, stuff like that. Each class has its own specific role, which necessarily the roles can't really kind of cross in between like other roles. Like you, as a warrior, it's not such a good idea to go capture a flag, since when you pick it up, you actually move a lot slower than someone that's playing as a worker, which can move a lot more faster and actually get to the base a lot quicker and help you win a lot easier. The only real gripes I've got about this game is that, okay, yeah, the single player is kind of short. It's about 12 chapters, 13 chapters if I'm mistaken. What is it? Of the single player. To get online, you obviously have to have a Wi-Fi connection, or if you have to have another friend that has the game, or friends that have the game like that. I haven't really tried out the multiplayer myself, so I don't know, but from other PSP games that I've been on via infrastructure mode, it hasn't been the greatest of experiences. Especially go look at Killzone 2. I'm telling you, that's terrible online play. But okay, overall, there's just after the single player campaign and you really don't have any other means of getting into the multiplayer, there's really not much to do with this game. Okay, I'm probably guessing that the multiplayer might be somewhat decent besides all the nonsense that goes on with the PSP and playing online and hackers and stuff. But honestly, once you finish pretty much the single player, you're going to be done with it unless you got other people to play with you. Okay, that's one thing I have to stress with this game. Go find other people to play with you so that way you can really experience this, because this seems like it would be really fun. I know this is on the PSN, where you could play that game pretty much online and stuff, so I can imagine it'd be pretty similar to that if you were playing with other people. Okay, but other than that, there's no other real gripes. Maybe, it gets a little bit hard playing against the computer every now and then in the campaign, because, you would try to do one thing and maybe either you couldn't do it fast enough as the computer, or maybe you're choosing the wrong class, and then as soon as you do that, you pretty much screw over your entire game. You have to restart sometimes, but other than that, there's nothing else pretty much that's wrong with this game. Okay, so definitely, guys, check it out. It's a pretty damn decent PSP game, in my opinion. Something that's worth checking out. It's not terrible. But anyway, I'll leave that to you guys. You guys could put your comments or video responses. I don't mind. Okay, keep it civil, and I'll talk to you guys again real soon. Venomous out, and this was only the goddamn truth.